real quick though, it is Memorial Weekend. I do want to give my heartfelt respect out to, and I'm sure both of you as well, to all those families that have lost loved ones out there serving our country who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Um, I know people that have had to deal with that. My whole family has served. Friends, my brother's getting ready to retire from the army. I just This weekend is not about, thank your local vet. This weekend is about remembering those that died paying the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that you can do what you want to do every single day. And I just want to send my heartfelt prayers out to those families that have lost a loved one serving this country. We're truly grateful for their service. With that, we love you guys. Welcome to the Work Hard People's Podcast, Coach's Corner Edition. I'm James, the old guy. We have the beautiful Miss Emma and the beautiful Heather Harris, who also happens to be my daughter and one of her clients. So we're going to talk to her a little bit, and we're also going to go over a few, little tricks, things that can help you in the gym, some tools that you can use, how you can better activate muscle groups and do a little bit better in the gym. So we'll cover that. There may be who knows, you never know when Emma gets going. There could be a rant somewhere, which, we love it when she gets on her rant. So she usually always is kicking out good information. So how are you two ladies doing today?
Doing good.
Doing all right?
I'm chugging. Tired.
Tired?
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes it's just the week catches up to you. But
Yep. I got tomorrow off though, so I'm excited.
that's good. Yeah, dude, that's good. Everybody needs a day, right? Gotta
Yep.
get a day just to recoup and well, we in the workout world we call them what? Rest days, right? The body needs
Yeah.
time to recover.
I got to
And
see what time. I don't even know what time the gym. I don't know what the gym hours are for tomorrow. I got to figure it out because they do close. They close like they do special hours on holidays.
oh yeah, you don't have
Yeah.
like a key card you can get in?
No, because they just close it down. They
Oh,
keep
okay.
it like even on Christmas and stuff. They keep it open, but it's only for like 4 to 5 hours.
I hear you. Yeah, I got a key card. I can go in 24/7. So,
Yeah, it's like a family-owned business, so they make
oh,
it.
nice, very nice. It's a great gym. I loved it when we were down there training. That place, they have every bit of equipment you could ever want.
Yep.
It's nice. It's clean. It's a good place. I enjoy it. Like I would love to have that right here. So,
Yep. They do a good job for sure. Yeah, I enjoy it. There's a new guy. Oh, I can't even remember the name of the gym. He reached out to me on Instagram, and I guess he opened up one in Ohio. It's like it reminds me of Alpha Land, but he's supposed to open up one down here, like in the Navarre area. So it might be next year. I might check it out whenever it actually opens. If it opens, we'll see. But it looks pretty cool on Instagram.
yeah, dude, a good gym is worth its weight in gold. I'm telling you, just
Mhm.
it doesn't even have to have everything. It just if it's run right and it's set up so that everybody can get what they need and you're not having to deal with a lot of garbage, it just
Yeah.
makes things so much better.
Yep.
So, but hey, let's dive into Miss Heather, or as I like to call her, my little sugar bear. Right? So Heather took on a journey here recently. She had, just like most of us, right? We get into a little funk. Maybe we're not eating healthy, we're just not doing some things. And in our very first podcast, Emma was talking about intermittent fasting. And I understood the concepts of intermittent fasting, but I had never used it. Emma has used it and used it really well. I'm sure you've seen her picture. She looks fantastic. What Emma's done with her own transformation is amazing. So, and Heather called me the next day after the very first podcast, and she was like, "Hey, does that intermittent fasting shit really work?" And I was like, "Yeah, let me get some details." So, because like I said, I wasn't as familiar. but Heather's been using that, and she and we'll post. I'll put some pictures up for everybody to see, but she has done an amazing job. She started out at what was it, 225, Heather?
225.
She started out at 225. She's down to
186.
186. Yeah, 186. So she's doing a great job. And what is better than even that? Forget about the weight loss. The education that she's getting. She is learning. She is she calls me all the time. Hey, Dad, what about this? Will this fit in my macros? Is this going to work? Can I do this on intermittent? She's like all engaged. She's doing great. She's feeling better. And just to give you an idea of her schedule, because it is absolutely insane. And I'm giving you this so that everybody knows that if she can do it, you can do it. She is a full-time student going in nursing school. She is also a full-time CNA at the hospital. So this girl, like, just for instance, a couple days ago, literally, well, not a couple days ago, that was a different event,
Friday.
but a few weeks ago, like with her finals and stuff, she'd be at work all night, gets off in the morning,
And go
goes,
to
tries
class.
to, yeah, and then goes to class all day, and then
Yep.
tries to catch a cat nap before she's going back to work again. So anybody can do it. You just need to find your window. So how has it been going for you? What were the difficulties? And Emma can help you out a lot better with this than I can.
Mostly it was not getting to eat everything I want. I love food. Always have loved food. And so
Wait 1 sec. That's my fault. I have to. We do that, right, Emma? We talked about that. You get caught
Yes.
up in that everybody's got to do something, right?
Well, it's also a different time, like your generation and then my parents, which is your generation as well, grew up in a time where like you ate everything under the sun and there wasn't the information that we had on the internet now. So the foods, the chemicals and the hormones and the processed bullshit that was in the foods. Um, Pop Tarts were marketed as breakfast. Sunny D was marketed as breakfast. The marketing for McDonald's and Whataburger and all of those places, it was driven towards the parents but also towards the kids, as quote unquote healthy. It's nutritional. You need to have this, has protein and fats in it, no trans fats, no simple carbs, just making it just, they didn't even know what they were talking about, and our parents didn't know either. And then so that was just kind of what was marketed towards us. And so as kids, you had to finish everything on your plate, and there was no balance of your carbs, your meats, your fats, and all of that stuff. So, yeah, it's a problem with everyone. It's a problem with myself as well.
Well, hell, I mean, if you look at the old food pyramid, right? What's the thing you're supposed to eat the most of? Grains, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's
And
great.
yeah, and it's one thing if you're eating a healthy source of grains, but like you said, that's not what we're eating. We're eating freaking Pop
Yeah,
Tarts, Captain Crunch,
cereal. Yeah,
all the good stuff. So I did not mean to cut you off, Heather. I just
you're
it,
fine.
it was important for that to go. But continue. So
Yeah.
let me
But
ask you this: when you first started, what was the hardest part of intermittent fasting?
having to wait all day to eat because working nights, I do my eating time from 4 to 12. So from 12 to 8 o'clock when I go to bed, there's nothing in between, no snacks or anything. So I am starving trying to go to sleep. So that was the hardest part. It's still a struggle sometimes, but most of the times it's better. But at first, oh my goodness, it was crazy.
yeah.
I,
But the cool thing about it, you probably got, especially in the beginning, after the first few days are the hardest because it's really a mental adjustment. It's not a physical adjustment because you have plenty of fat on your body. You're not going to
Mhm.
starve to death. But the cool part about it is sometimes you could possibly even go a little bit longer than your fasting window because you're like, I'm actually really not too hungry yet. But then you hit that wall where you're looking at a freaking chair and you're like, I could eat this chair.
Yes.
So like you actually feel true hunger for probably the first time in your entire life, what true hunger feels like, and not the
Hmm.
fake hunger that your brain sends out. So that's always the coolest thing I think for me, and that's probably one of the many times you got to experience that as well because it's a cool feeling.
Yeah.
Isn't that like boredom? There's a difference between boredom hunger and I'm gonna
That
eat the floor.
and that was a lot of my problem too before doing this is that you know, I spend a lot of time at home. I live in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing for me to really do. And so I'm sitting at home doing nothing. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll just make a sandwich or maybe I'll eat this whole bag of potato chips or eat this whole
Hey,
pint of ice cream or whatever.
what's that meme with the dog and he's laying on the couch and it says, "Yeah, I'm into fitness, fitting this whole pizza in my mouth."
Absolutely, absolutely, definitely.
I
And
love that one,
I
man.
could still, I mean, if I didn't think about it, I could let myself just do it again, just be lounging. There are days that I'm just like, I just want to lay on the couch and eat.
Yep. The cool thing about with the intermittent fasting is like that if you plan it correctly, there are times where you can have those days where if you go a little bit past your eating window, fast a little bit longer, and you do want to eat that pizza or you do want to eat that, big ass hamburger with French fries, go a little bit past your eating window and let that be your only meal, and you're fine. You might not feel
So
very
that would be better than just because, like, when I do a cheat day or whatever, I'll get like a big meal, but I'll eat it throughout that whole intermittent
Yep,
time.
exactly. Yep.
But is it better to go a little bit further and that way you're not feeling like you're starving later on?
It just kind of depends, like how I was saying, like you feel like you could really go past, like if you don't, if you just go until not until it's okay, oh, it's this time, it's time for me to eat. It's been my 16 hours, it's been my 24 hours, whatever period you're doing. Oh, it's been this long, it's time to eat now.
Mm-hmm.
Not doing that and being like, okay, well, it is this time, but I'm really actually not hungry. I think I'll maybe continue just drinking my coffee or my tea or whatever, or my water or Diet Coke. Because none of that's, I mean, coffee could kick you out of ketosis, but not unless you're drinking it pretty slimly and it's not, full of Starbucks sugars and syrups and stuff. But that's what I would do. I would go, so my eating window was 12 or 1 p.m. until 7 or 8 p.m. That was like my window. But there were days where I was like, I really want Whataburger or pad thai, and I just want to eat a shit ton of food. Well, as you're doing that too, your stomach is getting smaller because it's literally shrinking because you're not.
I've noticed I can't eat as much. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would hit that 1 o'clock mark and I would really just be kind of working. And I'm like, I'm really not actually even hungry yet. So I would just keep going. I would just not eat and I would just keep either drinking my coffee or my water and I would just chill. And then, 2, 3, 4 o'clock will roll around. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is the time that I think I might actually pass out because I haven't eaten. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's good for your body to have that break of constantly not digesting food because it's able to, clear out cancer cells, clear out diseases, viruses, bacteria, work on inflammation. Because when you're eating, people are like, oh, I'm so bloated. I ate so much yesterday. Blah, blah. Well, it's because your body's having to digest those foods. And if you ate inflammatory rich foods, then you're going to be bloated and inflamed and all that stuff. So I personally liked pushing it back and then just having that big ass meal and eating everything that I could. And then you're not hungry because you just ate your quote unquote calories for the day. Mine was about 1,500, which looking back, I probably needed a little bit more than that. But at the time, it was working for me. So I would just eat that. I mean, I would get my green chili double from Whataburger, my large fry, and my Diet Coke, and I would just eat that, and I would be content for the rest of the entire eating period, and then I'd go to bed. That's what I would do, though. But if you do it as like, yeah, you're kind of snacking on it throughout the day, you get a large pizza and you just kind of snack on it. I mean, that probably works just as well, too. That's the cool thing about the fasting is you kind of just play with it with how it works for your body because what was right for me might not be right for you. Keeping your brain engaged with other things where you don't get that boredom eating is always really important as well. Not sitting there watching TV all day or scrolling on TikTok. That's the easiest time to sit there and like want to snack and eat and just
which is what I spend my days off doing.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's when it's that's probably when I did most of my projects around the house, like painting and moving furniture and buying new stuff and redecorating. because that's what kept my mind engaged. So I wasn't eating.
And we are different, right? Everybody's different. Different foods react different with different people.
Hmm.
I mean, I may eat something that works great for me. You eat it and it just makes you feel horrible. Your digestion sucks. And when you're eating anything, right? When you're consuming whatever diet it is that you're on, there's a few things that you want to be in connection with your body, right? The first is consumption. Can I consume it? Is it something that I can get down? Right? Because there are some foods that some people just cannot eat. So you want to make sure you consume it. The next thing you want to make sure of is that you can digest it well, that it's not leaving you bloated or inflamed or feeling horrible, right? It goes into your stomach, the enzymes hit, it starts digesting well. And then the third thing is elimination. Is it getting stuck up? Is it causing me to have constipation or diarrhea or somewhere in between? Am I regular? All those components need to be in place for you to truly feel your best.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you're stuck sitting there, just the rule of thumb that I started kind of, I went into that mindset for a little bit, but my easiest rule of thumb is like, what is this bringing me? Outside of dopamine, what is this bringing me? I don't feel good when I eat it afterwards. It tastes good going down, but I feel like shit afterwards. Like, we who was, I think it was Andy Frisella. I think it was Andy Frisella and Joe Rogan, or one of them. I can't remember. They were talking about, this really great bakery out in Los Angeles. They'd get a sub there and the bread was so good, but they would feel like absolute garbage afterwards and they'd have to take a nap. Well, that's kind of the concept that I roll with now too. So like when I'm about to go do my call clinic or run my field days, I'm not getting those heavy, breaded foods and things that are going to spike my blood sugar, because in turn it's going to come just crashing down. And then I'm going to be lethargic, and then I'm going to feel like crap, and I'm going to want to take a nap, or I'm going to need more food to get that blood
Yeah.
sugar up so I can feel good again. So it's kind of the same rule of thumb. Like, what are you actually getting from this? Is it anything other than this just tastes good right now? No. Okay, then probably should start trying to wean it out of my diet. Not saying completely, because there's times like you do deserve, having those fun foods, having Oreos, having, what did I have today? Ice cream, that kind of stuff. But it's all in moderation. Too much of anything is not good. Too much water, too much sleep, too much working out, too much food, too much fasting, whatever it is. It's
No,
too much of anything is bad.
you're 100% on point. I've discussed this with you, Heather, in detail. When you're eating, the one of the biggest problems I think we have is when we sit down for a meal, we eat until we're stuffed.
Mm-hmm.
And you should always leave the table hungry, not starving, satisfied, but just a little bit hungry. Like, yeah, I'm satisfied. I feel good. I've eaten enough. But I mean, I could eat a little bit more, but you don't need to. You always want to leave the table just a little bit hungry. And you don't want to stuff yourself, because when you do that, that's what starts creating those events where you are chasing. Now you're dragging, you're exhausted, you feel terrible, you want a nap. And the only way to get around not having a nap is to do what? You stuff your face with some more food to try to spike that dopamine, get the adrenaline going, get the body working, and then you're crashing again. You're chasing that insulin hit, right?
Yep.
And but if you leave the table just a little bit hungry, if you're not stuffing yourself, and that's where I think meal prep really comes in handy, because if you're making your meals according to, hey, this is how much food I'm going to eat in a day, and I'm going to have this meal, this meal, this meal, this meal. And each time you get to your next meal, you're hungry, you're ready to eat. And you eat it, and then you're good for the next 2, 3 hours, whatever it is. And then you eat your next meal, and then you're on. It doesn't mean you can't have a fun day or a little mouth pleasure now and again. Of course, it's nice to, have some fun foods or go out. And I'm telling you all right now, Emma can eat, dude. We went we went to lunch last week. This girl orders, what was it? Chicken pad thai, a whole thing of freaking pot
Sushi,
stickers,
yeah,
a whole
lobster.
sushi roll, and then she's hammering me with that crap. Hey, oh, you got to try this. This is delicious. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm cutting right now. And then I'm like, no, give me that freaking sushi right now. and it was delicious. So good. But no, it's okay to do that, especially if you're being consistent, right? If you're being consistent with your diet, if a majority of the time you are eating on the plan, you are eating clean foods, you're doing the things that you need to do, and you go out and you have a day where you're having a little fun, fine. It's not going to derail you. What derails you is when you lose that consistency and you begin to eat like that on a regular basis, and it's every
Whatever,
other day, and then it
yeah,
becomes every day, right?
whatever you do consistently is going to be the result, regardless of what it is. Whether it's eating too much, not eating enough, eating too much of the wrong foods, eating too much of the good foods. That's all
Hold on,
the,
Emma, one sec. You have said this before, and I want you to say it again because this is so important. You said whatever you do consistently, you will repeat. Say it again,
yeah.
please.
Because like whatever you do consistently will be your end result. So like the people that get off the bandwagon of eating healthy, they start going like what you were saying, 1 or 2 days. It takes time to gain weight and it takes time to lose weight. Eating one meal one day, going over your calorie intake, going over your macro intake is not going to backtrack you to what you were when you were 230, 240 pounds, 300 pounds, whatever your weight was before. You're not going to wake up that much weight, and that's what I think a lot of people, I mean, I myself had a lot of mental problems with that, with my fasting. Is like I would feel like sometimes if there was a day that I accidentally overate, I would mentally be messed up in the head because I felt like I was going to go back to what I was in a day's time, and that's not true. That's not going to happen. That'll happen if you keep doing that every single time. Or the people that say, "Oh, I'm not losing weight. I'm not losing weight. I eat so healthy during the week." Well, what are you doing on the weekend? You're telling me you
Yeah,
eat 18 to 2,000 calories a day, Monday through Friday, but Saturday and Sunday you're eating 5 to 10. It doesn't matter. Like whatever you're doing consistently is going to be your end result regardless. Like, and it's not just food. It's through work. If you consistently don't brush your teeth are going to fall out of your head and your breath's going to stink, If you consistently show up to work late, you're going to get fired. If you consistently show up to work early, consistently, do your job correctly, you're going to, people are going to notice. You're going to feel good about yourself. So people, I don't know, we live in a very weird world where it's just constantly, I want to do what feels good right now. I don't really care about the end result.
yeah, yeah. I'm
People,
500 pounds. I only eat once a day, and I eat a salad. Bullshit.
yeah. Like we say at the office, Mason just reminded me, averages always average out.
Yeah,
So yeah, we
that
say that
is
all the time.
absolute. So, hey, Heather, what do you notice now in your life that is the best benefit from the changes that you have made? What do you notice physically, mentally?
Uh,
How is your change affecting you?
Physically, when I do things, I don't get tired as quickly. Like, at work, I do a lot of like heavy lifting and all that stuff. And I would always like be out of breath and whatnot. And now I'm not. Um, I still sleep like crap, but I don't
Well,
know. Physically, I feel good.
that's
I
probably
feel
a
better
product of
about
your
myself.
schedule, right? The
The sleeping
sleeping.
like
I
crap.
mean, yeah, it's working all night and trying to sleep during the day. Is that not a product of
No,
that?
I
Then?
think it's just because I have a crap bed and a crappy
Huh.
back. So,
Yeah, maybe we need to get you a new bed, girl.
Sounds like someone
probably.
needed a bed for her birthday.
That's right. That's right.
Or a massage. I'd go for a massage for my birthday.
There you go.
But mentally, I feel better about myself. I don't, I used to always just feel like crap. Never wanted to look at myself in the mirror. Um,
And
all
now
that
you just
kind of
want to
stuff.
stand
And
in front of a mirror.
maybe we're not there yet, but I do feel a lot better about myself.
Yeah.
I feel more confident.
I
I have
would
to
I would
say, oh,
highly
go ahead.
recommend, sorry, I didn't interrupt you. I would
No,
highly
you're good.
recommend like uh looking at like getting at what you're comfortable in, like, or what you weren't comfortable in. Like if there was a specific underwear set or a bikini set or like one piece that you tried to wear before and you were like I don't know, like this is never gonna fit, then put it on and then look at yourself and then look at the pictures of before and then you'll be like, holy shit, I look amazing. like, oh my God, I did not even realize, because you're doing it, you're seeing it like slowly. You're like, okay, yeah, that's a little better. It's a little, but once you start comparing to what you were before to where you're at now, I mean, your jaw's going to hit the floor. The people that have known you your whole life and then haven't seen you in the past few months, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh God, you look fantastic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So the people you see every day, looking at yourself every day, they're not going to notice those changes as quickly. You're definitely not going to notice them as quickly. But the second, like, that's why I constantly am making my videos, my pictures and stuff like that, my what is it, comparing the two, because I forget as well, and I'm like, I don't look as good as I think I do. I don't. That's not where I want to be. It's not, you know. But the great thing about it is there's never a finish line, right? There's not a goal weight. There's not a, or maybe there's a goal weight right now, but once you hit that weight, it's still not going to be enough. You're going to be like, I want to look different. You know, I want to maybe building some leg muscle, maybe building my booty, maybe, you know, having a little bit of a bigger back so I could have more of a snatched waist. So, but I would definitely recommend like comparing the pictures and just start looking at yourself, like really start
Yeah.
looking at yourself and appreciating how far you've come, because there's a lot of, the fact that you're even trying is a huge step, but the fact that you're succeeding as well, there's so many people in this world that are just horribly overweight and just do not care. They don't care. Half my clients are like that. So, you know, it's a big accomplishment, and you should definitely take pride in it for sure, because people don't do that. It's not common. You know what I mean? That's why
Yeah.
those videos on TikTok with people when they post their transformations, like they blow up, because it's like, holy shit, like how did you do that? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
almost like I cared about my life, you know what I
It
mean?
is it is crazy, man. When I look at what you've accomplished, Emma, and when I look at my own photos that I post and see, and it's like, man, I can't. First of all, it pisses me off that I allowed myself to get to that point, right? And then, but to see, and that's why I say to people all the time, fitness and transformation and change is not about days or weeks, it's months or years.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at the size of my back 3 years ago compared to now, it is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
It is shaped different. My body composition is different. Everything is different. And when I see that with you, right? Like Emma, the stuff that you have done from before, like, and I'm not even talking about pregnancy, Emma. I'm talking about some of the stuff that you've posted before pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. I was
And
still fat
uh,
before. That's what makes me mad when people are like, "Oh, it's just the pregnancy." I'm like, "No, I was still fat
yeah,
before. Like,
no,
I was
you are a
pushing 200
totally
pounds."
different human being
Yes, like my
now than
face,
you were.
I had no facial features. I was just a round
Yeah.
person. Like there was no cheekbones, there was no jawline. It was just like
Yeah, but it's that is amazing to see, and you've worked very hard for it. And I'm watching, Heather, you are my daughter. You will always be beautiful and loved to me. It doesn't matter what you look like. But to see the work you put in and see the confidence that you have given yourself, that self-confidence to do some different things, to stand on the beach and just be excited about being you. That warms my heart. That is exciting for me because I want to see my children be successful and happy and confident. And you are doing that with your choices, and it just is very exciting to me. I'm very proud of you. I'm very happy with the changes that you're making in your own lifestyle. And I think that those things will carry over to your husband and your outside family members. Will see the things that you have done, and those things you're going to be able to help others by doing the things that you're doing, making the choices that you make. And your dad, right? I
Mhm.
love to help people. That is my ultimate, that is what I get the most satisfaction out of is helping others succeed. So I'm just very proud of you.
Thank you.
You're
Speaking of
welcome.
husbands, mine's about to walk in the door.
Oh, good. Well, tell Jimmy we said hi and we love him.
All right.
So let's transition out of diet a little bit. I want to cover a couple quick things before we get out of here because I get asked questions all the time, especially in the gym. I've gone over some of this stuff with Emma. Heather, you've seen me do this because you've gone to the gym with me. You've seen me do this a million times in the
Don't
gym.
ever do leg day with James. It's terrible.
I,
You will
I
not be able
can't.
to walk afterwards. I used to go when I was younger. He used to have this little thing in his gym, and I would go in there and do it. It would kill me every
Yeah,
time.
I
you
did
can't
have.
get on and off the toilet.
my leg days were pretty extraordinary because I love training legs. I loved them. It was high volume, heavy weight. You were hitting it. But let's get into a few things with tools. Emma and I have discussed this a little bit. So when you are first, I have a lot of people ask me about gym equipment, right? Things that you can use, whether it be wrist straps, whether it be lifting straps, weight belts. Why do I use them? When do I use them? What do I use them for? So I have some philosophies here. So there are some people that will tell you don't ever use lifting straps. You need to develop your forearms. You need to develop the whole chain and all of this kind of stuff. Well, this is true to a point. You do need to learn how to engage your own muscles. But your like for instance your back. I use lifting straps for my back. I don't use them on every set. And just if you're wondering, lifting straps kind of look like this, right? They're straps you can put on your wrist. You can wrap this around the bar. And what that's going to do is a couple things. Number one, my back is a lot stronger than my forearms and my grip. So I can move more weight in control using lifting straps than I can without. Because there's a certain point that I get to a point where my grip can no longer control that weight, but my back still can because your back has a lot of different muscles in it. It's very strong. So, do we use those all the time? Do we use those when they're beginners? Do we use them? What's the rule? That's usually the question I have. When do I use those? Well, there's a couple quick answers to that. Number one, I would never recommend that you use them on every set because you do want to learn to engage the muscle groups. The second part to that is this. Some people have trouble engaging certain muscle groups for whatever reason. They cannot get in the proper form and feel it. In those cases, if there's a tool that can help you engage that muscle group and feel it, that's going to help you, even if you're a beginner, right? And once you have felt that muscle group, now you can feel it without the stress, but you need to learn how to use it. So, for instance, if you're brand new to training back and for whatever reason, every time you're rowing, all you're feeling is your forearms and your biceps. If that is the case, sometimes adding straps, because when you add straps, you can literally let go of the bar. You do not have to hold the grip. You just put a couple fingers on there to hold it. The straps are keeping the bar in place. And when you do that, it disengages your biceps and it disengages the grip in the forearms and it allows your back to do all the pulling. And that will help you learn to engage the muscle because that is ultimately what you want to do when you're training. Whatever muscle you're training, you want to learn how to engage it, to feel it contract, to feel it stretch. If you're not doing those things, if you're not feeling that, if you're doing curls and all you're doing is feeling your forearms and your front delt, you're not getting in the right position. If you're doing back and that's all you're feeling is your forearms and your biceps, you're not getting in the right position. And tools can help you with that. The other big tool that we can use is a lifting belt. And why would we use this, right? Everybody knows lifting belt, right? What's the point of that? Everybody calls it a back belt. Does it, oh, I need my back belt on. I don't want to hurt my back. No, well, not really. It's not really what it's about there. So there's a little bit more to it than that. And what it comes down to is there is it's the Valsalva maneuver, right? And what that is bracing. So when you lift, a lot of people think when you're lifting weights that you breathe in on the eccentric and you exhale on the contraction. Not necessarily the case. What you really want to do is breathe in and brace, make the movement, whether it's a squat, a deadlift, whatever. And once you've made the movement, then you exhale. And the reason for that is the Valsalva maneuver, right? When you do that, you are inhaling deeply, flexing the core, which is providing internal pressure that allows you to lift the weight. So, how does the belt help? The belt helps because now it gives us something to brace against. So you can typically lift more weight with a belt than you can without. So why use it? What's the benefit? Shouldn't I just be strengthening my core without it? Well, yes, I think there are times you don't use the belt, but when you're doing some lifts and you want to, if I can do 10 deadlifts without the belt at a weight, and then I can put the belt on and add 5 pounds to my deadlift and then still do 10 reps with it that I couldn't without the belt. Is that not benefiting me? I think it is, right? Because we're getting to time under tension. We're carrying more weight for reps, which is going to do what? It's going to grow the muscles. It's going to benefit us all around. So tools are important, but they need to be used wisely. And that is how I counsel my clients more than anything. When you're using a tool, it's like anything in life, right? We use that tool wisely. Many of you know that um, you can use a tool in a bad way and it doesn't help you, right? If we use the tool to cheat or to make it easier, it's not helping us. But if we use the tool to benefit and strengthen whatever it is in your life, it's helping us. And, using a coach helps us, right? It helps us get in the right position. Sometimes we don't always see those things. We don't always know exactly where we need to be or why we're not hitting it. I use people all the time. Emma, I know you use people to help you with certain things. We've done some of that stuff together in the gym before, working on your back. I've had people help me with, I'm like, hey man, I'm just not really feeling this. Can you help me? Um, uh, the first time that Emma and I were actually in the gym lifting, when we were doing seated rows, Emma was struggling on the first sets to get her shoulders back. And so she wasn't contracting as much. And we did a few little tricks and boom, here she is contracting. And then we were doing rear delts together. And Emma said, I always do them this way. And I was like, wow, let me try that because I did them a different way. And I tried that. And what I found is if I use like start out the way I do and then switch into the way Emma does it as I bring my shoulders back, I'm able to like super contract my rear delt. And that's where somebody from the outside helping you and watching and seeing how your muscles contracting, those things, that's where you can really benefit from it. So, and I mean, Emma could tell my shoulders have been blowing up lately. And part of it is that, right? I mean, that was a huge help to me.
Yeah, I mean, people I think that having someone keeping an eye on you with like eating or going to the gym or anything is what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but it's just unnecessary and it's just extra for whatever reason because they think that you think that you're better, that you need someone to help you just because
Know
oh
all
it's
the answers.
cool. Yeah, like you're like, oh, it's just cool. Like it's not. It's the same reason that you need a math teacher. It's the same reason you need an English teacher. It's the same reason you have a boss that trains you to do your job. You don't know everything. And you telling me that if you wrote an essay the same way you wrote it in third grade as in high school, that it would be exactly the same. You know what I mean? It probably would be if you didn't have a teacher guiding you and telling you the things to change. Like actually,
Yeah.
that's what that word means. Let's do it differently this time. Use it this way. Let's do this format instead. It's the same concept. You don't know everything, and having a second set of eyes on anything is good. Using equipment. I mean, you at the end of the day, whatever gets you in the gym gets you in the freaking gym. Because if you consistently stay in the gym and you consistently are there for the right reasons, you'll start realizing on your own, like what's bullshit and what's not. You know,
Hmm.
or do you really need to be taking all these supplements? Like, no, the supplements are the very top of the pyramid. You know what I mean? The bottom is the food that you eat, and then it's working out, and then it's your sleep, and then it's your supplements. You know, like you don't need to be taking all of these supplements just to get into the gym and just to see results. That's not how it happens.
It's funny you say that about supplements real fast. I saw a thing, I can't remember if it was on Instagram or Facebook with Tom Platts.
I think
And
I sent it to you.
did you see? Yeah, everybody knows Tom Platts. And he was talking about his supplement cycle and preparing for the Olympia. The dude he literally was only spending 200-300 bucks a month. He was doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but and that's exactly what he said. He was like, it's the food, it's the workouts, it's the volume and the reps. It's not the supplements. So
Yeah, people, as messed up as it sounds, everything's a marketing game in this world. You can make money off of anything. And all of the supplements that come out with every single supplement company outside of protein, creatine, and maybe pre-workout and pump powders, other than Demo Day is good with Axe and Sledge, the carb powder.
that's the only thing I use from them. I
But
love that. I
it's
love
not
it.
necessary, and it's marketed to people to make them spend their money because
Yeah.
they have no better judgment. Like if you want
Yeah.
to spend money on any type of supplement, let it just be protein and creatine. That is all you need to start out. That is absolutely all you need. And I wouldn't even say that you necessarily need it because you get creatine through your food, your body actually makes it, and protein, you get protein through your food. But if you are not getting as much protein as you'd like because you have a hard time tracking your macros, start out getting with protein. You know what I mean? It is hard to eat. If you're trying to eat your body weight in protein, yeah, that's kind of hard to do if you can't sit there and pound out steaks and chicken and turkey every
That's what
single
I struggle with
day.
is getting enough protein in.
Exactly. And that's where the protein can come into play. You get a decent price protein. You don't have to spend $80-$90 on protein. They have fantastic proteins on Amazon. You don't have to buy the name brand. You don't got to buy Bucked Up. You don't have to buy Thavage. You don't have to buy Axe and Sledge. You don't have
Yeah.
to spend $200-$300 on supplements each month. Drives me insane to hear people talking about how broke they are, and then I see how many supplements they have, and I'm like, it's unnecessary. It's
Yes.
unnecessary. You don't need that. You don't need it. The thing that you need to do is see how much you're eating, stop eating so much, and start being active. Whether it's in the gym, whether it's running, it doesn't matter. Just start being active. And then as you start developing that lifestyle change, your mind starts piquing different interests. When I started losing my weight, my ass was not in the gym one freaking time, because I didn't want to be in the gym. I was like, I don't care about that. I just want to lose my fat. So I
Yeah.
stopped eating.
I am not about the gym.
Exactly. So I stopped eating. And then I saw the HWMF challenge and I was like, well, now I'm just skinny fat. I have no ounce of muscle. I lost all of my butt. I lost all of my boobs. I lost all of my legs. I have nothing. I'm just skin and bone. So I started lifting again, and it was just at home. I had my dumbbells and I would just do a couple workouts here and there throughout the week, get a little sore. And then I started getting into a gym, and now I'm obsessed with working out. Now I'm obsessed with eating, I'm not eating the right foods, but I'm supposed to be eating the right foods. And I know what foods I'm supposed to be eating, and I know what workouts I need to be doing. And it spirals. It's like a big snowball effect. But if you think that going to buy all these cute new workout outfits and getting all these meal prep containers and buying all these supplements and all this stuff that's what's going to do it. That's what's going to make you lose all this weight. That's what's going to keep you. It's not what's
No.
going to do anything for you.
It's just
good,
good, clean, smart, healthy choices. That is the key. And like Emma said, food is the key. And the only thing that I would add about the protein is if you're looking for a protein powder, like Emma said, there's a lot of good ones out there. But if you look at the calories, you'll really be able to discern if it's good or not. Most good protein powders that are limited on carbs and fats and don't carry a lot of excess sugar and things, they're going to be in that 100 to 150 calorie range. If you see a protein powder that is 300 calories a scoop, just so you know, most weight gainer powders are like 600 calories. So if it's 300 calories a scoop, look at the label, because there's going to be a bunch of sugar in that, some extra carbs and fat. You don't necessarily want that, but
there's nothing wrong with that either, because that could definitely work as some type of like a demo day, like a carb powder.
Oh yeah, if you need that, of course.
Because 99% of the time, like Muscle Milk, those have a crap ton of calories in them, but it's actually not terrible ingredients. They're not the best, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
And it's not too it's not going to break your bank account. But at the end of the day, there's so much information on protein, and the creatine and protein are the two most studied supplements in the entire industry. But if there's ever a day because you could sit there and scroll on TikTok, you could see something about XYZ. Someone's like, yep, that's the way to do it. And the next one's like, nope, that's not the way to do it. And the next one's like, let me tell you why you should do this and not that. And it's just, I mean, the information's endless. So really getting your best source of information just from someone that's unbiased and not trying to promote anything. That's the first way to go. And if you still can't find anything, I mean, anyone can always talk to us, message us on Instagram, Facebook, anything like that. Cause I mean, even if we don't know the answer, we'll sit there and divulge through the research for you, just like we do with all of our clients on their macros. Do we know exactly? If I looked at Heather and said, okay, I know exactly what you need to eat. No, I have no earthly idea. I'd have to sit there, talk to her, figure out what she likes to eat, what she doesn't like to eat, what works for her, what her schedule looks like, how much she weighs, how much, body fat percentage she thinks she has, all that stuff. And then I could tell her how much she needs to be eating. It's like you just glance at something and that's the answer. That's not just like anything. You couldn't just glance at your truck, it's not working, and all of a sudden you're like, yep, I know what the problem is. No, you have no idea, not until you get under the hood and start running diagnostics on it. So
Yeah, 100%.
So Emma,
100%.
how did you find intermittent fasting?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. I honestly could not remember. And because I can't remember, I'm probably going to say probably someone told me to do it, but my ego is not going to let me. So I actually think it was Mason, my husband. I think he told me, I think he had mentioned it about me for the longest time. He was always trying to get me to work out and eat healthy and stuff. And I'm very independent. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. I look good. What are you talking about? I don't need your help. I can figure this out myself. Well, then he left for Bahrain and I was fat. And I think it just finally resonated with me and I just started doing it. I just stopped eating. I figured out how many calories I needed to eat, did the 16-hour eating fasting window, 8-hour eating window, and just ran with that. I did the math wrong. I was supposed to be eating like 1,800 a day, but I ate 1,500 a day. In the first 3 months, I was losing, how much was I losing? I think I was losing 4 to 5 pounds a week. And then it slowly started tapering off as my metabolism readjusted to that new calorie regimen. But I would not recommend that to anyone. Definitely do the research on how many calories you actually need, because going out of that, I had a very hard time retraining my metabolism, actually eating the foods I need to be eating. I still do intermittent fasting though, because it's just easiest for me. You get to a point where you don't need to eat. You realize that like eating breakfast and stuff is not necessary, or whatever the schedule is. If you're a breakfast person and you didn't really ever eat dinner, you just did because you were supposed to, you start getting to the point it's not necessary. You don't need it. And so go back to the ancestral days. They didn't eat 3 meals a day. They didn't have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They had one big meal every few days. Yeah. And that was their food. And, yes, they died of, venereal diseases and stuff like that, but that's beside the point. In modern medicine today.
I didn't think it was going to work when I first started, because I have PCOS, and they say PCOS, it makes it so hard to lose weight. So I was like, I'm going to try this and it's not going to work, and I'm just going to be fat for the rest of my life.
Yep.
It's still a metabolism issue. It's still when you get down, a lot of people say calories in, calories out, which I hate, because there are some other factors in there when you're dealing with metabolism. But it really comes down to, if you're eating in a deficit, you're going to pull some weight off.
Mm-hmm.
There's many ways to do that, to eat in a deficit, and there are some good, healthy ways to do it. Intermittent fasting being one, where you just are shortening that eating window. You're still eating the food that you need, and you're eating good, clean foods, and all those things are gonna get you where you need to be.
The best way about the intermittent fasting is that the fact that your eating window is so much smaller than 12 hours. 12 hours is a lot of time to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up first thing in the morning, get you a coffee loaded with a bunch of cream and sugar, and then have you a donut or a bagel or some cereal or maybe some eggs and toast and pancakes, and then you're chasing that blood sugar high. And then at lunch, you want to have, a big old sub from Publix or a burger. And then you're like, okay, great. And then maybe a little snack, maybe some chips, a Coke. Then you got dinner, and you're doing the same thing all over again. Versus in the fasting, even if you aren't counting, I didn't count my macros or anything. I just strictly counted calories. I just guesstimated how how many calories were in what, mainly because I've been dealing with food for so long and kind of keeping a consensus of, I could look at a thing of food and be like, that's probably about 300 calories. Or I could look at something else and be like, that's probably about 700 calories and just guess. And that's what I did. I didn't even sit there and track my macros. I would just guess on how many calories it was, how many calories I thought I ate for the day. And it worked. And really it just is, my eating window was so much smaller. I couldn't overeat. There was no overeating unless I really
No time to overeat, right? If you stay in that window.
Exactly. Because you stay in that window, your body adjusts. It gets easier to not eat. Your window gets longer to where you're not hungry because your body's actually able to start using some of this fat reservoir that you've built up over the years that, you have been overeating. And then you tap into that. And then it gets to the point where it's like, okay, now we do need to eat something else. We've gone through what we needed to for the day. Let's go ahead and get some calories in. And, I'm not kidding, man. There's times where I was like, I'm about to kill someone for some food. This is true hunger. Like, this is the kind of stuff that would cause like cannibalism if the food went to shit world.
Well, hey, you know what? I think that is a perfect segue to end this show on. Real quick though, it is Memorial Weekend. I do want to give my heartfelt respect out to, and I'm sure both of you as well, to all those families that have lost loved ones out there serving our country who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. It's I know people that have had to deal with that. My whole family has served. Friends, my brother's getting ready to retire from the army. I just this weekend is not about, thank your local vet. This weekend is about remembering those that died paying the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that you can do what you want to do every single day. And I just want to send my heartfelt prayers out to those families that have lost a loved one serving this country. We're truly grateful for their service. With that, we love you guys. We hope that you're getting some good information from us. Heather, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate having you. And
Thanks for
just
having me.
no, we're glad to have you. And it's nice to see somebody putting tools in place and having success. And you've done a great job with that. And with that, I mean, like, subscribe. We very much appreciate those that are engaging with us. And remember always to work hard, peoples. Don't forget to smile. Thanks so much for watching or listening. Remember, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook at Work Hard Peoples LLC or Instagram at Work Hard Peoples LLC. You can also find us on our website at workhardpeoples.com. Have a great day or night. Don't forget to smile.